In this tutorial, you are going to be introduced to the presentation screen in StreamAlive. We'll cover 7 areas here. First, a quick overview of the presentation screen, then adding your audience interactions such as polls, word clouds, and interactive maps, adding your existing presentation slides, using templates which contain audience interactions relevant to the type of live session you're running, and previewing your presentation. Then using your presentation in a live session and connecting StreamAlive to your live session. Let's get started with a quick overview of the presentation screen. It's where you create the polls, word clouds, spinner wheels, interactive maps, and other audience interactions that you'll use in your live sessions. When you create a presentation, it can be used in any upcoming live session that you have. You can reuse the same presentation again and again for different live sessions. The presentation screen allows you to mix your existing presentation slides with audience interactions, so everything can be shared from a single tab during your live session. You don't need to switch from your PowerPoint or Keynote or Google Slides decks to the poll or other interaction that you want to run. At the top of this page, you'll find the name of your presentation. You can rename it at any time. You can also make a duplicate for another session if you want to reuse most of the engagement boosters and slides but need to make a few changes. On the left-hand side, you can see all the engagement boosters and slides for your presentation. If you are starting from a blank presentation, there won't be any slides just here. The icons on each slide indicate what type of engagement booster it is. You can reorder the slides as you want. You can also quickly insert a new slide, duplicate a slide, and delete a slide. To see a larger view of all your presentation slides, you can use the grid view. You can take the same actions in the grid view as in the film strip view, such as inserting new slides, reordering slides, and deleting slides. The center screen shows you the slide that your audience will see during your presentation. The graphic that you see here is just illustrative of the engagement booster that we're running. The right-hand side menu is where you control the content and design of your engagement boosters. StreamAlive has a large template library of pre-written questions for all types of live meetings and sessions. They can be accessed and imported to your presentation at any time from here. We'll talk more about templates later in this tutorial. Adding engagement boosters. To add a new engagement booster like a poll or word cloud, you can click New Slide or click the blank slide at the bottom. You currently have 9 engagement boosters to choose from. We add new ways to visualize the audience chat all the time. Hover over each engagement booster to see a quick schematic of what it will look like in your presentation. Audience intelligence interactions run continuously in the background when you start your live session. So Quick Questions automatically identifies any audience chat that looks like a question and curates it into a question bank. Link library is similar, but detects websites and email addresses that have been entered into the chat. Text Track provides a visual word cloud of the entire chat stream. Say you want to visualize on a map where your audience is joining from. You can use the Magic Maps engagement booster. This opens a new box on the right where you can enter the details of your interaction. Note that the schematic shown on the slide is just illustrative of how your engagement booster will look. It's not the actual slide that will be shown. I'll show you how to preview your presentation later in this tutorial so you can see how it looks to your audience. Type the question you want to ask in your audience in the heading box. I want to ask which city you were born in to break the ice with my attendees. Different engagement boosters have different customization options. For Magic Maps, you can set which part of the world will be shown first. So if your audience is European, you might want to set your initial focus on Europe. You can also set whether to allow audience members to submit multiple responses. For example, in Magic Maps, you might ask everyone which cities they have visited, so it makes sense to allow them to submit multiple responses. For my question about city of birth, it should be impossible to be born in more than one city, so I'm going to limit each person to one response. I'm also going to let audience responses be shown on my screen as a small call-out in the bottom right-hand corner. The next option is to customize the colors for your engagement booster. This step is entirely optional, but if you want to use your brand colors, this is one of the places to set it. The other place is under the settings menu. If you do change the colors, you can save it so that it applies to any Magic Map interaction that you create in the future. One thing to note when you're running your engagement boosters during a live session is how many responses you expect to get. The account plan that you're on determines how many responses the engagement booster records. The free plan allows you to access all the features of StreamAlive and records responses for up to 30 audience members, which is increased to 100 commenters for live sessions on Twitch and YouTube Live. If you already have a presentation that you've created in PowerPoint or Keynote or Google Slides, you can upload it to StreamAlive and blend your presentation slides with the engagement boosters. At this time, we can't import any slide animations or transitions that you may have added, but we are working on this. You can even upload images as a slide. Although any dimension is possible, we recommend an aspect ratio of 16:9 or 4:3, which is the standard ratio for presentations. When you upload your presentation slides, it takes a few moments to process depending on the size of the file. The slides will then be displayed, and you can select which ones you want to add to your presentation. You can reorder them to your preferred sequence, mixing in your engagement boosters. If you need some inspiration or ideas on what kind of questions to ask your audience, you can use our pre-made templates or our AI to come up with questions for you. Open the template library to find dozens of templates with predefined questions and engagement boosters. On the left-hand side, you'll find different categories of live sessions, from company meetings to live streaming. If we open up the education templates, it will offer all kinds of live sessions that an educator might run. Use the preview option to see what kind of questions each template contains. If you find one that looks suitable, click Use Template and it will populate your slides with pre-formatted questions. Using templates is a quick way to load up lots of relevant engagement boosters. Another way of coming up with ideas for questions is to use our AI to generate questions for you. Let's say I'm running a webinar on interview tips for fresh graduates. I want to ask attendees a poll, but I can't think of a good question right now. I add a poll engagement booster and ask the AI to suggest questions for my topic. The AI will generate 3 or 4 options and I can pick one to ask. If I'm not happy with the questions that are generated, I can use the AI to come up with some more suggestions. Currently, 6 of the engagement boosters allow you to use AI to come up with relevant questions. The other engagement boosters are not question-based, or in the case of Magic Maps, there's only so many location-based questions that you might be able to ask. Now it's time to see what our presentation is going to look like for our audience. The preview option allows you to simulate how your presentation will look for your audience, so you can practice going through your slides and engagement boosters. You can launch the preview at any time. By default, it will load a screen that looks very similar to a Zoom meeting, but you can always change the layout to a different platform if you prefer. The preview works exactly the same way, it's just that the look and feel of it changes. What you're seeing right now is what your audience will see when you share your presentation screen during your live session. On the bottom left is the navigation bar to let you move forwards and backwards through your presentation slides. The chat is also active, so you can type anything you want in the chat at any time. When your first engagement booster shows on your screen, StreamAlive simulates audience responses so you can see how the chat is being visualized by your engagement boosters. You can try out typing the answer to your question if you want, and it will be captured by the simulation. Do note that the audience responses are pre-programmed and not related to your question. The goal is to give you an idea of how your presentation will look and feel for your audience, not to give relevant answers. Close the preview when you're finished testing. You can make edits and additions to your presentation engagement boosters and revisit the preview to see how your changes will look. Once you've created your presentation and are happy with the engagement boosters you plan to run during your live session, it's time to add it to that live session. If you don't have the live session planned yet, that's okay. You can click on Save and exit the presentation screen. The presentation is saved and you can add it to your live session once you have your details finalized. If you do have the live session details on hand, you have 2 options. You can present now or schedule it for later. Both options work in a similar way. There are multiple platforms you can connect StreamAlive to. Platforms like Zoom and Google Meet just need your meeting link, while others like Teams, YouTube, and Twitch need you to authorize StreamAlive to connect to your account. WebEx and Vimeo are unique because they require the StreamAlive Chrome plugin to work. More details about that is available in our StreamAlive knowledge base. The other option is to use StreamAlive's browser-based chat solution. This is used for in-person events, whether it's in office meetings or big conferences. The hybrid option is popular as half the world works from home or joins a live session remotely, while the other half are in person. Check the StreamAlive knowledge base for articles and tutorials on how to connect your presentation to each of these platforms. Now, let's say we plan to use this presentation I've created in a Google Meet session next Wednesday at 3 p.m. I have the details ready, so I'm going to schedule the session for later. When I select Google Meet, I need to give the session a title and paste in the Google Meet link. You can find the Google Meet meeting link by looking in your calendar and copying the link into the form. I then set the date and time and I'm ready to schedule the session. The next step is to connect StreamAlive to your meeting. StreamAlive works by adding a bot to your live session that can read the chat and turn the chat into visualizations. When you start your live session, return to the StreamAlive app and select the session you want to connect to. Ensure that the session has the presentation that you created earlier added to it. Once you click Connect, it will open up the presentation screen and you'll get a notification in your live session that StreamAlive bot wants to connect. Once you allow the bot in, all chats will be processed by StreamAlive. The next step is to share your screen. This is actually our second most frequently asked question. How does my audience see the interactions? It's the same way as if you were sharing a PowerPoint or Google Slides presentation. You share your screen so your audience can see it. In this case, you share the screen that StreamAlive opened up. You can find out more about this live session presentation screen in our knowledge base. So what's the most frequently asked question that we get? How does my audience participate in the engagement boosters? For meetings and live streams, the audience participates by typing in the chat whenever the engagement booster appears on your screen. For in-person and hybrid events, the audience participates by typing in the chat of StreamAlive's browser-based chat solution. So there you have it. You've learned how to create your presentation, how to add and customize your engagement boosters, how to add your slides, how to use templates, using our AI to come up with questions for you, previewing your presentation, and how to connect it to your upcoming live session. Visit our knowledge base for more tutorials and tips on how to use StreamAlive's different features. And good luck with your next live session.